Hello, 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 everyone. It looks like we are good to go here for the start of the tournament. That is to say, the Flying Forts 2v2 tournament. Alright then. Actually, it looks like we are really ready to go. The players are ready. The match is made. So let's go ahead and announce to say hello and welcome to the 2v2 Flying Forts tournament hosted by Hallrassy. And there, we shall be kicking it off here in a moment. So this is going to be a good time. We haven't seen Flying Forts in a while, but the community for it is still quite alive and well. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on here. We have the Flying Forts event. For those guys who haven't seen it before, it is absolutely amazing. All of the greatest chaos in flying zero-gravity style events. We're going to have forts flying around and cannoning each other. And the format has been reworked a little bit, but you guys will see that as we get in and we explore it. So this is actually primarily, well, we'll see the teams as they go through. But first off, we have Team Infernus facing off against their opponents. It is going to be, let's see, we have Team Infernus versus Team... I have the list here, but the name's a little bit hard to follow. Well, we'll see that in a moment. You guys can check out the bracket here. You could use the bracket command to find all of that. And for now, versus Team Apotheosis is the first match. But for now, let's jump right into it. Let us go. So hello one, hello all. Do not worry. There is a delay on. So for those wondering about stream sniping and the lot, that won't be the case. And is it working? There it is. And we're off, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2v2 co-op, where everyone starts with pre-made and custom-made flying forts. That's right. The way this works is every team has pre-created their flying forts. And the forts, they're lifting. There they are. And away it goes. So in 20 seconds, combat will start. And we'll see which team survives. These are merely starter bases for the sake of facilitating the pre-made forts. Battle begin. Here we go. Opening volleys. I like how thick and chunky the front of these bases are. But I want to point out that the team on the left-hand side, Team Infernus, has... Oh, well, they've got some serious damage control coming in here, but they've also prepared to take the opening hits. Just layers on layers of metal. As well as energy shields to prevent the overpenetration from things such as these uranium rounds. Oh, Lord. They're holding the line. This might take a while. In this first match, every team has... Look at the rotation they're slapping on this. Notice how they're so supremely, so cleanly throwing around weight across their base, just so that they can rotate upward to face their opponents and slam those shots on. Now, something to note, these bases don't have much economy. Once damage is dealt, they can't so cleanly rebuild it. Oh, Oh, piloting error. They crash into the ceiling, and that causes some fairly significant damage. Same thing as their opponents, though I think Team Apotheosis... Uh-oh. Oh, that's it. And that's the end. Team Apotheosis crashes and burns. Congratulations, Team Infernus, winning. That is what we call a maneuver kill. There it is. All right then. So let's go ahead and get set up this next round. Oh, geez. That is one of the, that happened. So in that match, what we had was one player... They both crashed into the ceiling, but it wasn't an immediate destruction. They took some damage, but it wasn't bad. But what happened was... What happened there was... The second team lost control. They lost one of their control mechanisms and weren't able to recover fast enough. So they flew out of control and slammed into the ceiling with lethal power rather than a mere scrape. Imagine they got a mere scratch that sent them spiraling out of control and then into the ground. That is flying forts. That happens all the time. That happens all the time. Are they in sets of 4s? No, so this is a round-robin tournament. So each team will be facing off against each other team. So rather than having a proper bracket, which the bracket is available if you use the bracket command. It shows there. However, this is what I'm showing now is just these standings. This is the current team set, although it hasn't updated just yet. We'll get around to that soon. Alright. Let me see if I can ping the tournament organizer. And he's joining in. Ah, okay. So it looks like we're calling for a redo of the match. So we are going to do that here in a moment. Very fast, very fast. Love to see it. So now you guys know how this works. It will be... Because one of my major complaints, one of the reasons why we haven't seen flying forts more regularly, is simply that it takes a very long time to get the flying vessels all set up, and then the piloting is quite complicated. So we get this scenario where it takes way too long to actually start the matches, and then once the matches start, only a select few are meaningfully able to participate. But here we have players who are trained pilots, as it were, and completely skipping the early phase because the players have pre-made the maps such that their own creations are ready to use. And... once more into the rematches. Here on the left-hand side, we have Team Infernus facing off against Apotheosis. For those wondering, there is another live cast. If you guys want to check out the tournament in the native Russian tongue, make sure to check out the caster in the link. This is someone I'm largely unfamiliar with. However, their link is in the description below. You need only follow the link in the description. As we have cannons, EMPs raining. That's so much damage. You love to see it. God, that's just the cannon fire. Cannons are so very, very good in flying forts. They just solve all the problems. Like, all of them. Oh, it began. Oh no, all over again. Oh. Technically, they're still in it. I think that's the end. I think... Wow, they are not completely knocked out yet, but... I just want to point out, they just rotated their ship. And, okay, well, there goes that. I was going to say, they just rotated their ship and put it back. But, like, oh, man. There's no way. This is delaying the inevitable. And there we go. Once more, Team Apotheosis flies into the ceiling and crashes and burns. So there we have it. That should be it. They're already calling for no more rematches. We've seen it. We've seen it once. We've seen it again. It is off. So that should be Team Infernus clocking in their victory. Yes, excellent. Okay, so the next set will be switching out the players here for the next round. So this will be a few minutes while we do the player merging around. Mind you, the other players are still in their match, if I recall correctly. Actually, I need to check on that because I can follow my own description and go to the... check out the live cast of the other match because the matches are going at the same time. So, here we go. There it is. Yes, the other players, the other teams are still... They are still active. However, it looks like it's winding down here. Yeah, that's... There it is. Okay. Alright then, so the second match has just completed. So we will be swapping the players around. So in order to save on time here, as we do have a fair few matches to go through, we're running both sets. We're running all matches concurrently. So not every match in this competition will be visible on this channel, and not every match in the competition will be visible on DLMC's channel. So what you guys will need to do is you'll have to go watch DLMC to observe the other half of the matches. Whereas this channel will show you simply the matches that we have here, such as Apotheosis versus Infernus. The other match has just finished up, so we're going to be swapping players around as typical round robin fashion. And this is going to be good. Oh no. There are the results. Okay. So, this is actually a good time to catch up on chat. How are you guys doing today? Video online. All functioning systems. Nominal. How do you make a team? Usually when we do these tournaments, the tournament will reach out, or rather they'll be posted online, where you can simply sign up for them. I believe this was announced in the official Forge Discord. The sign up for the events was closed about a week ago. So you need only watch the official Forge Discord for such community events. What's the drink for today? Coconut water, because hydration is good for you. I'm actually a huge fan of coconut water. Coconut water makes me happy. How do they control the craft? So this is something that's a little bit difficult to show off if you haven't actually played it before. There are a few options in this variant. It's literally just weight management, where there will be balloons that you'll see scattered in and among, oftentimes on top of the fort ships, and all they are literally just balloons. It's all physics. If you want to go up, you inflate more balloons. If you want to go down, you add more weight or remove some balloons. So it gets real chaotic real quick, so you have to do actual real-time physical energy management. It makes it quite difficult. Actually, I need to swap these teams around. As we'll be starting up this next match momentarily. Alright then. Time's up. Let's do this. Into the next round we go. And here we're off. Team Apotheosis versus Team Yogurt Enjoyers. So Team Apotheosis is the same team that was present on the right-hand side in the last match. So the right-hand side has swapped to the left, and now we have a new team here. Team Yogurt Enjoyers. Here you can see the balloons lifting the fort, and well, the raw and sheer mass of the fort is enough to shut the thing, to keep the thing from flying into the ceiling. But the mass tends to change, and it tends to change quite quickly as the cannons go flying, as metal is sheared off of the fort and such. And we're off. Oh, a beat. Oh no, your design. They tried to burn the cannons out of the sky, but all it did is ignite the cannon shells and have them cause incendiary damage to their own fort. That was devastating. Oh ho 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 no. That was a pretty hard yikes. Well, they took out the balloon on top, which means that the fort will sink. They replaced another one. We'll need to sell it off again, so we'll start seeing how that works out. But they keep putting balloons up top and getting rid of them just so they can... Oh, jeez. And a door snipe. We see critical damage dealt to Team Apotheosis. Whoa. That's devastating. That is absolutely devastating for Team Apotheosis. And with it, they run very low on any kind of economic production there, as it took out some fairly significant sections of the base. Team Yogurt is just pummeling Team Apotheosis with cannons. It looks like Apotheosis not suffering from piloting errors this time so much as just suffering outright. Oh, jeez. That's so many cannons. It looks like Team Yogurt Enjoyers is no longer firing their fire beams. But Team Apotheosis, like, they're sitting there, they're taking the hits. They're not going down, but they also aren't seriously dealing damage here. Like, they're hardly getting return. And there it is. That's it. Straight to the core. They open the door to the core, and Team Yogurt Enjoyers gets obliterated. Team Apotheosis, with the absolutely devastating critical hit, takes the victory in this match. Well done, well done. That was absolutely beautiful. I want to watch that again. Let's see if we can pull that up on replay. As that was a gorgeous door snipe right to the core. It looked like Team Yogurt simply didn't have adequate protections. Whew. All right then, let's slow this one down. As here it is. As we see this shot come straight in through the closing doors, causing cascading explosions, exploding balloons, exploding cannons, and they lose most of their lift, and they simply aren't able to recover in time. It is devastation. Well, that was well played. That shot was very, very clean. You'll love to see it. It looks like Team Infernus has also won their match. Well played. I do enjoy flying forts. Like, it's just it is very satisfying to watch. That much is absolutely true. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Okay. as we get the players in for the next match. Okay, so the yogurt enjoyers will be team 1. Excellent. All right. We're about ready to jump into the next match here. Time's up. Let's do this. And we're off. Here we have, it's Team Yogurt Enjoyers getting critically sniped out in their last match. They're now facing off against Team Infernus, who is already flying away. Team Infernus, just this thick brick of chonkiness. There's going to be a lot to dig through here. Oh, jeez. Here we go. Oof. The opening volleys. Damage. Yeah, this is... It's just... I'm sorry. This fort layout just seems to have so much more. I mean, that's just ridiculous amount of doors and cannons. Like, how do you break through that before it just breaks through anything else? That's 6 cannons of just chaos. They're already penetrating through. Just clean straight through their fronts. Team Yogurt Enjoyers is... Like, that's not even a door snipe. That's just... They've been penetrated. They've been damaged. They've been destroyed. And... Oh... Their primary lift systems have been separated from the rest of their fort. We now have multiple exposed cannons. They are trying. They are going to make an effort as Team Infernus flawlessly tracks and lines up the shots against their the derelict husk of their opponents. Another clean hit. Oh, jeez. Oh, they're getting very close to the ceiling here. Oh, ho, 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 jeez. Uh-oh, a little close. Oh, but this is going to give Infernus the time they need to just line up the hit. Unless Yogurt Enjoyers can get a door snipe here. It's just going to be real bad. Infernus is not even... That's what they're trying for. Yogurt Enjoyers are trying for the door snipe. They're trying so hard for the door snipe. It's, oh. Look at them. They're constantly juggling the balloon on and off just to stay above where Infernus seems to be having some trouble actually lining up the shot here. Where Yogurt Enjoyers is trying to nail that door snipe, but that might just... Man, the damage is so rough. It's so much damage. Uh-oh, uh-oh. They're in the kill zone. And there it is. EMP knocking out the cannons as well as most of the lift surfaces. That's... Ooh. With the EMP knocking control out, they had to wait for the EMP to wear off before they could regain control. But now we have Infernus coming in from the kill, and there's the cockpit removed. And they're gone. There we go. Infernus with the victory. Well played. Well played. There it is. Infernus, another win under there for their score. And that's what we like to call a very successful match. No, it is so very satisfying to see the activity like that. It's just so good. Might have been easier to down at A10. Oh no. This is awesome. I agree. This is awesome. I like flying forts. It's so good. Design was poorly protected. Well, I think they made an error in their design. They intended to use fire beams as an active defense, which works very well, but the way they designed it, it didn't work at all. So they invested into the active defense in fire beams and only made themselves weaker for it. So that needed to be designed differently if it were to actually function. Alright, so now we're going to be switching it up a little bit. There will be some mild context changes. We will explain the differences here once we start. But for now, we're just getting everything all set up here, so we'll get this next match here. Are these real players? Yes, these are real players. I know we do a lot of AI on this channel, but these are all real players. Every single one of them. Because the setup in the way this one works is we actually have 3 sets here. So we will have ostensibly 3 different tournament brackets, as the tournament brackets will get updated here in a moment. You'll notice everything is back to 0. This is because we'll be doing flying forts, but under a different set of rules. We'll have different starting forts for each team and such. And this means that, well, while all these scores will be summed together at the end. So for the time being, we're getting ourselves set up and ready for the next match. Did the tournament already start? Yes. Yes, it did. Next match will be Team Chamash versus the Yogurt Enjoyers. As hello. Okay. So in this next match, there will be a higher metal limit. So we need not we will have even bigger, even stronger forts, and forts even more likely to detonate or tear themselves asunder. So I'm looking forward to this. You don't understand what's going on? Well, we have flying forts, big giant bricks in the sky loaded to bear with cannons and explosives. All right. Everyone's ready. Let's do this. Into the next match. All right. Are we starting? Hold up. We okay? Are we good? What's up? Ah, okay. We have to do a little bit more behind the scenes set up here. You have to. They didn't have their appropriate ships. Their starter ships. The bigger the fort, the more likely it never does. The enemy instead just shoots itself through the ceiling. It's true. We've already seen piloting being a significant feature. A flying concentrator could be good. Lasers have issues against... So lasers require burn time against a single spot on the fort, like against a single shred of wood. If you don't... If you're facing against an opponent that's moving, then you get this kind of sweeping beam effect, which just does nothing. So it makes lasers not a great option, like, at all. Alright. Are there mag beams? There are mag beams. I do not know if the players will be using any. I doubt it. I doubt it very highly, but they exist. The mag beams are just very difficult to use. They require a manner of coordination and timing. It's just unnecessary most of the time. Like, it's just a vulnerability at best. Multiple fort per team would be fun too. Usually flying forts will feature something like three or four at the same time. This one is specifically giant flying forts rather than multiple little starfighters. Multiple aircraft. Most of the time we'll have, let's say, a bomber craft with a cannon craft mixed in something of the sort. Can cannons be aligned to be concentrated like lasers? Yes. Yes. It is not as simple as lasers, but it can absolutely be done. But for now, we're off into the next round. As here we have on the left side, it's Chamash. Facing off against their opponents, it's the Yogurt Enjoyers. Now, Where are the... I'm confused. How does this work? Are they really going to go for top-down broadside? Are they Phantom? No. Oh, here come the deck guns. Return to sender. This will be devastating damage. This is just a line of return to senders. Oh, I see what they're doing here. Okay, okay. So this entire left side is nothing but return to senders. The purpose of this is to make it very, very, very difficult to break through, as Team 1 and Team Chamash here actually has to bring some anti-return to sender tech. So what they're going to do is they're just going to fly past them, they're going to fly behind them, and they're just going to blast Team Chamash from behind. The cannons are now available to fire, and this is going to be catastrophic damage. And there it is. Immediately sliced in half, as we have an pair of EMPs in front, just in case the portals were set up to defend against this. But man, this is looking very, very bad. They're falling out of the sky. I think they'll catch themselves here, but only just. Yeah, there it is. So Team Chamash is not out of it yet, but this is quite difficult for them to come back in here. Team Chamash really needs to be orienting themselves to point their weapons in the correct direction instead of, yeah, this is death from above at this point. There it is. Team Chamash has been eliminated. Team Yogurt with the victory. You'll love to see it. Well played, well played. So, an interesting play with the rules. One of the rules of the tournament is that teams are not allowed to use kamikaze strategies. One thing that is known for this is you can actually, as you saw, phase through each other's fort. So one common way of destroying elements, destroying targets, is to create a self-destructing section of the base, just phase it into the enemy's defenses, and detonate from the inside. Extraordinarily powerful, and completely not allowed. Fortunately, they did not, despite using phasing technology, did not do anything kamikaze. They phased through, completely separated, and then blasted them. Which is great, and I love it. This is the kind of shenanigans. So the moment I saw them using portals, fire beams, I was like, alright, this is a team that's thinking way too hard about this. I like this. I like what I'm seeing out of Yogurt here. And then they pull this. That was... I did not expect. That was like big brain right there. It was great. They should have shot when they were right on top of each other. So that's where the kamikaze rule comes in. They're not allowed to. Because it's, it makes for incredibly uninteresting gameplay, let's put it that way. As much as it works well, it doesn't make for enjoyable gameplay, yeah? They've got to be the best pirates you've ever seen. Oh no. Alright guys, so right now we are waiting on the players to... We're waiting on the players to become available. The next match, the next players, the next team, is currently still in their previous match, so we have to wait for them. You can see their previous match, or their current match, as it were, still active right now. If you go check out DLMC's channel for the live cast of the tournament. Crazy Moose coming in with a super chat. Hello. I want to say shout out to Crazy Moose coming in with the laughter. Saying movie voiceover. This Christmas, Santa ain't taking the sleigh. And then the nuclear launch coming in with the Megaton support. Their genius idea is basically charging an attack, teleporting behind the enemy at the moment of the attack. Exactly. Super effective. I am curious to see how the other teams deal with this, because it can be dealt with. Flying forts, there is no real up and down. You can simply rotate around as much as you want. The other team could have simply inverted themselves, and it would have worked. That is mechanically a little hard to do, but I trust these players are capable of doing so. There is counterplay. It's not like it can't be dealt with, but it is not so simple to do. Very slowly moves behind you. Nothing personal, kid. Yes, that's what they did. Is the ship allowed to become two? I don't believe... I don't know if there's anything in the rules against that, actually. If you were to, like, split your ship in half. Certainly if you get cannons into pieces. There would be no... I can't see a reason why you wouldn't be allowed to control each separate piece individually. So I can't imagine if you would just do that on purpose, just, you know, spawn one ship and just have it meant to be separated. That seems reasonable to me. I've seen the cursors in the other stream. Yeah, I've enabled cursors now, so there will be cursors available. Typically, cursors are problematic for the players with high ping, so we generally leave them disabled. We're going to attempt to have them enabled here. If people start having desync issues, we'll have to disable them again, but we'll try it with them enabled this time. You can also just EMP the portals. Yes, if you have EMPs, like that is entirely why the right side team who pulled the shenanigans, that is entirely why they had their own EMPs. So just in case the enemies had something like return to senders on the back, they could EMP them down. It was great. Like, there are ways, there are counterplay options. Now I'm thinking like now I want to do some multiple flying fort. Looking like some high fleet. Yeah, it is quite similar, similar style. That is for sure. But there we have it. The next DLC, 50,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Oh no. Okay. It looks like the players in the next match have all completed their matches, so they'll be joining in momentarily. There it is. Apotheosis versus the Yogurt Enjoyers. So we get to see this. We get to see this all over again. We get to see the Yogurt Enjoyers do their nonsense again. I am excited. Yes, please. We have an extra player in the lobby. Let's... Oh no. Okay. Who is not here? Okay. Welcome. All right, and we're off. Here we have Apotheosis versus the Yogurt Enjoyers. So, we have seen... Oh, jeez. It is a giant brick versus a similar here. Similar strategy, only deck guns, which is deck guns a different degree of damage output, but it's just okay. The alpha strikes, okay. Well, I mean, mutually assured destruction. No one survived the opening volleys. Oh no. Well, here we go again. Okay, so we're gonna do that again, I think, is what's gonna happen here. As much as I think we're calling that one a draw, as that there was technically a victor, but like we're gonna do that one again real quick. Just instant EMPs and door snipes. Yes, that is exactly what happened. Okay, once more into the fray. All right, let's go. How do you call that a victory? Okay, we're fine. Team, here we have on the left-hand side, it's Team Apotheosis with a thick, nigh impenetrable wall of armor guarding a giant line of cannons. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cannons. That's 10 cannons versus 8 deck guns, but otherwise the exact same strategy here. Did they forget to put a barrel? They forgot to put a barrel. Oh no. It doesn't really matter. Round 2. Fight. EMPs flying forward. Deck guns flying out. There's a door snipe. That's hefty damage. But nothing they can't recover from. As Team 1... Ooh. Team Apotheosis looks to be taking the lead here. Just because Team Yogurt Enjoyers is too busy on damage control to actually fire their weapons. They will have a limited time before death comes for them. This could be devastating. Yeah, just the deck gun damage is so much higher than cannon damage. It's 10 cannons versus now 7 deck guns, but the deck gun damage is just so much stronger than cannons. It's kind of a lot to deal with. Oh, hello. Splashing across the top, no serious damage dealt, but that's going to be a difficult fix for Team Apotheosis, because usually the teams will use the tops as a nice, easy place for emergency lift management. You'll see them placing balloons and placing weights and such up there, just because it's convenient and out of the way and doesn't really matter if it gets damaged, or at least it's not critical if it gets damaged. But what ends up happening is if you get that destroyed, you suddenly no longer have access to that to rely on. Oh, that's it. The support, the core got separated from the rest of the base. Just the damage. And they have no way of rebuilding. They've lost their technology. They can't. This is just Yogurt Enjoyers. They have become target practice for Team Apotheosis here. Oh no. This is not ideal. I don't even know what Team Yogurt can do here. Like, I don't even know what Team Yogurt can do here. Like, they have to rebuild their technology from scratch. Like, that's just minutes in order to even get access to weapons, and then to have to dig through this. They're building a sniper. I mean, dreams of door snipe. You need 3 sniper rounds on a cannon in order to eliminate the cannon to get a door snipe. Like, you're not getting 3 sniper shots on a target like this. Like, that's not happening. But straight into a balloon, lift surface is destroyed, and into the ground they go. Well played, well played. Team Apotheosis with a victory. Time to become Maverick. Oh no. And there we have it. Sick dodge. They tried so hard. It is always good fun to see them attempt to pilot their way out of it. Alright, so now we need to only wait for the players of the next match to finish up their lobby, which I believe they are finishing up right now. And then we will be jumping into the next match. Make sure to check out the other match running concurrently with this one at DLMC's channel. Link is in the description below. Did they build their ships themselves, or are they pre-built? Both. What they do for so one of the major criticisms of flying forts is that the construction process for building such complex and large vessels is quite extensive. Like this, it can take 15 minutes. So rather than spend 15 minutes at the beginning of every match reconstructing these giant ships in a shipyard, what they will do is instead pre-create them in the map. So we will have a custom map here which has each team's pre-created, pre-built version of their flying fort. Each fort is built by the players but was built last week and just added into the map so that it can be loaded up in the tournament and we can skip the 15-minute ship building phase. Does that answer your question? Okay. As next up, we'll have Team Apotheosis versus Chamash. Nice. Line. Okay. I'm excited for this one. Gonna have deck gun. Nope. Apotheosis was the massive cannons. So we'll have cannons versus the phase ship. And we're off. So here we have, on the left-hand side, is Team Apotheosis, rocking 10 cannons and a heap load of defenses. They are all Baron and a lot of brute behind it. Whereas here we have Team Chamash Cult, rocking a pure wall of return to sender and a single strategy of Omiwa Shinderuing, all the way behind the enemy's fort, and slamming them with their backwards aimed cannons. Interesting. It looks like Team Chamash is adding some sandbags to the front of their fort here. Not certain what that's going to do. EMPs will splash damage through all of that, but perhaps there's something I'm not thinking of. As here we have Chamash activating their engines as the game starts. Oh, EMPs. That's why. Team Apotheosis is rolling EMP cannons. The return to sender, completely not functional versus this, as Chamash is flying high, which is they kind of want to do. I mean, generally not being in direct line of sight, probably a good idea. If they can go up, if they can go down, just make themselves generally a much harder target to hit. All they have to do is get to the other side of Apotheosis here, and Apotheosis is going to want to change their orientation here. It looks like they're working on that. They're working on an extension here that lets them place more things and change their orientation. It's potentially devastating damage. We're getting into kamikaze range here, so we will see these players not fire their weapons for a few moments while they try to struggle with orientation. Apotheosis is taking advantage of this to rotate themselves around and immediately invalidating Chamash's strategy here So this is how you deal with someone who wants to get behind you. You look at them and you point all their guns at it. This is an awkward situation. By rules of the tournament, neither team is able to fire or allowed to fire their weapons in this state. However, neither team wants to separate. I guess Team Apotheosis probably just wants to take the head-on battle, where they, I mean, I guess they'd be at an advantage if they take a head-on battle, but the ideal condition is that Team Apotheosis moves to the left, and also the ideal condition for Chamash is that Chamash moves to the left. So they're both going to be vying, trying to move to the left. However, I think Apotheosis comes out on top if they end up on the right. Uh-oh. Pilot error. It's ship too big. Can't sustain the rotation velocity. That's some self-destruction going on there. That's going to cost them plenty of space and firing time. Looks like they're going to reset. And I think at this point, Apotheosis just blasts Chamash out of the sky. I mean, there's still 10 cannons on the field. Apotheosis does not have... I'm sorry, Chamash was relying on getting the sneaky backstab. They don't have the kind of firepower to sit there and face tank this many cannons. Team Chamash has been destroyed. Congratulations to Team Apotheosis. Reigning strong. Did it bug out? Or is it still waiting for the explosion? Oh. It looks like the map had a minor bug, so they're going to be... Oh, you... Why are you so troll? It's fine. It's fine. They'll be solving this in a moment. One sniper shot later. You can do it. Come on. Alright. Cannon it. There it is. Okay, they sold it off. There it is. Well played, Team Apotheosis, with a victory. Good lord. Oh, man. I love Chamash's strategy. I love Chamash's strategy here. It's so good. It's so funny, so unexpected. And, like, it actually works, but, like, they cannot... They cannot, under any condition, be sitting in front of Apotheosis like that. That is just way too much damage. Alright, so now we'll be going on to round 3 of the round robin. However, this time, guess what? They're even bigger! Whereas last time each team had 55,000 metal to play with. Now each team will have 99,999 metal to play with, which is just a lot. It's a lot of metal. So we could expect to see even bigger, bolder forts this time around, which is going to be kind of a lot. And there is no longer a time limit. Not that time limit has been a major concern. So, yikes. Alright, so give us a moment here to set up the next match as we await all the players finishing up their previous matches. Remember to check out the other set of matches running simultaneously with this one. You can watch them live on is it not loading for me? DLMC's channel. Let's see. It looks like the next match is winding down. We have the same situation as our match previous to this, to the phase ship match, where it's one core attached to a balloon, dangling in front of a dozen cannons. And there it goes. Well played. Death by cannon. How big do you want your fort to be? Yes. If anyone is going to do multi-fort shenanigans, this is going to be the place. All right. It looks like we will be joining... We're going to not run simultaneously for this next match. So we shall be joining in with DLMC's cast here. Are there two matches happening at the same time? Up until this point, yes. What's stopping people from having accelerators from the get-go? Nothing. Nothing at all. You can absolutely do that if they see fit. Next up, we're going to have Team Apotheosis versus Infernus. We get to see what monstrosities each of these teams come up with. Both of these teams tend to be fairly standard. I expect even more cannons with even thicker defenses on this. I am curious to see if someone does a multi. I'm a huge fan of the multi-fort strat. But we should be good to go here. The teams are made, the match is set, players are not quite readied up. What about a Magna Beam? Could consolidate all 10 shots into one square. The Magna Beam is not a... It is mechanically challenging and not terribly rewarding in this context. It is possible, but it ends up usually being more of a liability than most. Like it's just not good. It's just not better than another cannon, let's just put it that way. At least in my experience, and I imagine the experiences of most of the players here. After all, if it was a good strategy, you would expect some of these players to be using it. These are very capable players. As we jump into the third bracket here. Imagine trying to program an AI for flying forts. It would not. And the standard AI design for forts, like the using the standard forts AI inputs, it just would not function. And we're off. So here we have on the left-hand side is Team Apotheosis. Oh my god, going up to 12 cannons. 12 cannons and even thicker walls, facing off against their opponents that have just made a taller wall of pain. This is going to be cannon versus cannon. How many cannons is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is this 12 on 12? This looks 12 on 12. Yeah, this is 12 on 12. Team Infernus, a little taller than Team Apotheosis here. But Team Apotheosis, they got that chunk. They are thick. They are very thick. So, this is going to be an interesting battle. It's just going to be brute force versus brute force as we have cannons flying. A good observation to make here, and this is the reason why a lot of these cannon forts tend to hang out around the top. It is difficult to aim up with cannons because cannons suffer gravity. So what you want to do is you want to be the high ground aiming to the low ground. And Team Infernus has taken the positional advantage here for the moment. Of course, Apotheosis can negate that just by hanging out near the ceiling. Obviously, we have seen the ceiling be the death of people, so there is some good reason to not be near the ceiling. Just high risk, high reward. Ooh, their topmost balloon platform has been destroyed, and so now we see Apotheosis slowly drifting toward the ground. They have enough backup balloons along their rear to keep them afloat, but it will knock them out of position for a time. Apotheosis is struggling here just to maintain position. They just lost 2 more balloons. That's going to rotate them out of position. They're so close to fully inverting here. As Infernus is just firing like this. They're just sitting there with 12 cannons lined up on them, just pummeling. Apotheosis needs to change something, or they're just going to be they're just gonna be hammered out of the game eventually. So one thing to note, something I haven't mentioned before, at least not during the match, is that each team has a finite amount of metal, finite amount of money. In this match, it is an extraordinary amount where we would not reasonably expect the players to run out during the course of the match. To be fair, none of the teams has run out at any point in time during the match, any of these matches. However, I do want to point out that Team Infernus has actually gained money over the course of this match, whereas Team Apotheosis has lost about 15%. No, has lost 25%. That's actually an even number. Has lost 25% of their resources so far. So they're actually going to get knocked out by resources if this carries on for indefinitely, because they're down to 72%, 71%, and dropping of their total resource reserves. They're just, well, they're floundering. They're flopping around. It's like a fish out of water, flopping back and forth, barely able to maintain elevation, while they just have their control surfaces hammered. It's having these balloons across the top where they're exposed is very convenient, but it makes them vulnerable to these cannons, because Infernus is sitting above them, or at least was up until a moment ago, where they have clear line of sight to all of those balloons, and thus Apotheosis is constantly having to rebuild and all the balloons that they're using to control their fort. It looks like they've finally stabilized, down to 58% of their reserves. But I think... Oh no, just a little bit... Whoa, ho, ho. I think they overcompensated there, but they should get a few shots off here if they are willing to. It looks like they prefer to armor themselves up again and repair, which is fair enough. Oof. Those penetrative rounds, casting fires internally. Not doing much damage this time, but that can spiral out of control very, very quickly, which is terrifying to think about. Apotheosis fires, but it's too much. There it goes. We have self-destruction. Torn asunder by internal stresses. Apotheosis destroyed. So that one was actually very hard to see for someone who isn't familiar with these mechanics here. So we're actually going to roll back that on the replay. You can see here right when they fire. Wait for it. We have all three of these lined up. Watch what happens here. As you'll watch these stresses ripple through their fort. Explosion to fire, and everything just burns. And then suddenly, when the ship morphs, it rips it apart, causing massive explosions. And that's just the end. That's how it goes. Kaboom. And there you have another victor. Another point added up. No nukes from the extension. They are not permitted to interact with the extension. The extension is there strictly for the purposes of making the modded map function. Alas. Why do they have shields on the inside? Because there is a number of penetrative effects, such as the incendiary rounds from those cannons, and the easiest way to delay them is to defend against such armor-piercing effects is the energy shield. But now we're off into the next round. As it will be Chamash versus Yogurt Enjoyers. Each team is starting with 100,000 metal and giant bases. We have Team Chamash coming in with the wild and zany phase ship strategies from the last match. Using some of the modded weapons. These they're okay. They're okay. They tend to not outperform cannons. But they're facing off against their opponents here, the Yogurt Enjoyers. Jesus Christ. Like, what am I supposed to do? Alright, so a few things. Both vessels are so large that they are exhibiting self-destructive behaviors. Here we see the internal stresses of a ship this large is actually just straight up breaking components. This Chamash is suffering the same fate here. Interesting choice of weapons on Chamash. I don't really know how this is going to work out for them, as we immediately have internal stresses just sundering the ship to pieces. Well, That was actually kind of satisfying to watch the destruction of, although not particularly exciting in terms of a match. We might be redoing that one. Because that was... They flew up, they got hit, and they exploded. Oh no. Pretty sure a smaller base would be better than these. It looks like one of the ships... I see what happened. They're saying that one of the ships loaded incorrectly and did not include some of their piloting surfaces, so I think we're going to be redoing that one. Did they even test fly it? Yes. It looks like they. It looks like the ship was incorrectly loaded into the map. Small skill issue, no tarps. Yeah, it looks like the tarps were not loaded with the ship, so they'll. I believe they're getting permission to reconstruct them at the beginning if they do not load again. But so that's going to be a concern. But we'll be redoing the match here in a moment. Is this a Russian tournament? Most of the competitors, as well as the organizer, yeah, are Russian, so... Yes? I say without... It's not like the tournament... The tournament isn't advertised as Russian specifically. It's not like this is a specifically Russian tournament. It's simply that the... most of the competitors happen to be Russian. Mostly because the host is Russian and advertised mostly to Russians. The team names backwards? Maybe. I was told. I did a check. I should double check. We have Chamash on the left and Yogurt on the right. Let me check. We have Yogurt Enjoyers on the left, it would seem. Yes. Yes, the teams are backwards. Okay. So I will be sliding those around. There we go. Problem solved. Interesting note, not that this particularly matters in so much as they don't break anything. The tournament organizer has accidentally left himself on Team 1, so he's on Team Yogurt Enjoyers and not in the proper observer. Oh, okay, no, he's left the game and rejoined as a proper observer. Okay, so Team Yogurt Enjoyers has been given permission to reconstruct the lost elements of their fort. As you can, for those who know what they're looking for, can be observed. This entire fort is just a moments away from self-obliterating. Like any amount of firepower, just enough cannon shell can cause problems. Yogurt Enjoyers really needs to adjust them. Okay, I was about to be scared there for a moment. There's so many cannons, it's so many cannons. Like, come on. This is ridiculous. Because we have massive damage, and just impact damage from those electro bolts. Good lord. Who do you root for if Eaton isn't here? Nighthawk. Unfortunately, those Nighthawks really need... they need to have elevation above their opponents in order to drop their in order to drop their bombs. So Yoga Enjoyers needs to aim upward somewhat extensively and try to land their Nighthawks right here across the top of the map. Weapons can be fired into the blue radius. It is only the forts themselves which cannot touch the blue boundary, the edge of the map. But weapons such as Nighthawks can fly up there, so they can rotate up and drop their payloads. Never mind. They have the setting that the projectiles can't go up there either. That's unfortunate. Okay, that's going to make Nighthawks very difficult to use, actually. Team Chamash has lost all of their electro bolts. These Nighthawks, that might release. This releases, but it's a bit. Oh, that could have done catastrophic damage. There they go. They're getting the Nighthawks across the top now. But they're missing! No! Did they correct themselves? Oh no. They're slowly chewing away at the bottom, but Chamash is effectively nullifying the Nighthawks just by existing in such a stable manner across the top. Like, Chamash is not moving here. That's just how this is going. They're slowly digging through the fronts, which is not so slowly, actually. It's, fairly quickly. Chamash is slowly dropping down, which may allow Yogurt to fire those Nighthawks again. Albeit, they seem to not have any success with that, so it may not be worth it for them. Another thing to note, Yogurt is down to 3 Nighthawks, so I don't expect there to be much in the way of more Nighthawks. Almost all of them complete misses. Somehow they barely did any damage. I mean, that was just user error on that. Like, they just missed. They had a whole bunch of Nighthawk rounds that just missed their target. Oof. That's it. That's a slice in half. And for a moment, we have 2 separate fort ships. I suspect neither of them will be saved. That one certainly won't be. This one actually survives. It survives for a brief moment. Anger has found it once more. And from above the cannons shall smite. All the explosive internals are exposed. So this is one hit away from cascading secondary explosions. Case and points. I suppose, fortunately, losing that much weight caused the Yogurt Enjoyer's vessel to massively lift and make the cannons a bit harder to aim because moving target and all. But that's not going to be enough to keep the Chamash away, as another set of cascading explosions, and we're down to a trivial amount on a single reactor. They still have a cannon, so that counts for something, right? Oh no. They're struggling to just maintain stability of any kind, which is completely understandable in this context. They kind of need to add more wood and more structure. Yeah, there they go. They're trying for it. Come on. Almost got it. Deck guns are firing now. They're trying to use deck guns to hit their target. is the cannons. The cannons are actually really hard to land at this range. Certainly at this, at a target this small. So we're seeing cannons flying all over the place. Up, down, above, below. One defiant cannon round. That's what you call a core swing. Ay. Okay, this is a lot of cannons. All of which fired where the yogurt enjoyers once were. Like up and down and up and down. Wow, they're actually stabilizing here? Okay. Well, fortunately, they've managed to stabilize and stop swinging all over the place, which may come back to haunt them, because, well, if you don't move against this many cannons, the cannons are going to come for you. Rather, the cannons are coming for you. Oh no. There it is. That's a solid hit. That one's not so... Oh, there it goes. And there you have it. Chamash takes this round. Well played. Congratulations to Chamash grabbing another point in this round robin. They were saying, the yogurt was saying, they seem to find themselves in that situation very often, so they have a lot of practice staying alive. Alright. Remember guys, if you're coming in from the Russian side of things, and you're looking to see these matches shoutcasted in the native Russian tongue, make sure to check out the link in the description below, where we have linked to DLSM's channel, or DLMC's channel, sorry, where it is cast in Russian. Alright, it looks like we're setting up for the next round here. Apotheosis versus Yogurt Enjoyers. I am going to double check the teams. It looks like... Alright, the teams were not swapped, so we'll be doing that manually here. Doing it live. And we're off. Yep, there's a... Remember when I said the teams weren't swapped? Someone messed that up. You can do it. You got this. It's fine. It's fine. They'll get it. Are they gonna... Okay. They're giving it a restart. Little modded map troubles. It's fine. Just give us a moment here. We're loading it again. It had a... Whoa. The lobby seems to have crashed entirely, so we are suffering from a little bit of technical difficulties here. We are going to be giving this another few moments as we get everyone back into the lobby. Looks like myself and the lobby host are the only two who survived the lobby crash. The joy of modded forts. I suppose modded anything, it happens every so often. But that's why we're familiar with these things, and we get it fixed up pretty quick. All right. The teams are... Okay. Let's go. Excellent. Okay, are we good now? Yes! Yes, we are. We have Team Yogurt Enjoyers with their Nighthawk Madness facing off against Team Apotheosis with the thick width of 12 cannons in a brick. 20 seconds till match starts, and the players are positioning themselves. As we have Team Yogurt Enjoyers, they desperately need to be near the top so they can at least fire above Team Apotheosis, or those Nighthawks will do actually nothing. Of course, they also have to hit their target. Team Yogurt Enjoyers refuses to add a barrel onto their fort, which is just... that's a decision. Uh-oh. Balloons attached to stray pieces of wood, as Team Apotheosis's fort is not structurally capable of handling additional balloons. As the Nighthawks begin. Will it be enough? No! No! You can't miss that many Nighthawks. Like, stop it. Okay. Did they aim? There you go. That's better damage. There it is. Massive damage. Cascading explosions all the way around. Team Yogurt has a bit of a spit against the ceiling, but Team Apotheosis takes critical amounts of Nighthawk hits, as Yogurt Enjoyers are now just spamming out bombs all over the place. That's a proper carpet bombing. Or not. Okay. But at this point, Team Apotheosis is at the mercy of Yogurt Enjoyers' cannons, and Yogurt Enjoyers has a lot of cannons. Oh boy. Here we go, Team Apotheosis. I think they're separating the rest of their cannons just to survive. And, ooh, it keeps them alive, but... oh no. Uh-oh. They're spiraling out of control, their fort is falling apart, and there it goes. It tears itself asunder. Well played, Team Yogurt Enjoyers. And we're off. Those Nighthawks. Man, seeing all those Nighthawks fly around like that was not... there's a lot of missed shots, but it only took a few. It only took a few to make the difference. And pretty durable brick. Yeah, that is a super durable brick. Like, yeah, impressively so. Alright, so as we get the next set of players in. Yes. Okay, so we've got the next team here. This will be Infernus versus Chamash. I'm going to imagine they're not going to fix the team, so it's going to be backwards again. Let me preemptively do some, there we go. That was fast. Yeah, a lot of these matches are going quite quickly. Usually Flying Forts matches, like standard ones, last a long time, but that's mostly because of the ridiculous amount of downtime in them, not because the matches themselves, or not because the combat itself takes a long time. Especially in forts this large, it is very, very difficult to keep the fort intact just from the stresses. Like, if you have 12 cannons, you have to have a support structure that can like a load-bearing support structure that can handle 12 cannons, which is not easy to do. I'm not seeing any stability tech inside these flying forts, which means once one strut breaks, it just slaughters. The rest of the struts just come ripping apart. So it's a problem that has resulted in very swift matches because a single hit just causes the entire thing to come crumbling apart. Usually in smaller matches, even such as the first few that we saw, generally once one segment breaks, the other segments are fine because it's not carrying literally 12 cannons worth of weight. So you can continue firing. Mind you, the first matches had some other concerns, like slamming into the ceiling and also the floor. Or something catastrophic, like somebody flying behind you where you don't have any... you don't have any defenses. And we're off. Chamash versus Infernus. Did I not? Did I get it backwards? Did they swap it on me at the last second? As we already have catastrophic... Yeah. Structural integrity failure off rip. The match hasn't even started yet, so this is going to be a restart. Alright. Okay, so I fixed the names appropriately. And we're off. Team Infernus versus Team Chamash. Okay, so what... I'm not certain what spawn happened which caused problems. But it is not the most surprising thing for me to hear. So remember, each team starts out with 100,000 metal in the bank and infinite energy. It is only a matter of how large can your ship be. So far, we've seen the internal stresses cause very serious problems for every single team involved. So this is not something where going big is strictly better. But going big, generally better than not. It's just, it's close. As we have Team Infernus opening their volleys, getting off the first alpha strike. As you can see, those incendiary rounds penetrating the armor, getting stopped by the energy shields, but man, anything in front of those energy shields just took catastrophic damage. So we have secondary explosions taking out those cannons. And there it is. It's just a few pieces of metal broken, and the entire thing comes crumbling apart. There's just too much weight in these forts. God, the splash. It splashes, and that's just the end. As Team Infernus gets off one volley to the upper section of Team Chamash, and there's just nothing left. And there we have it. Looks like both teams put the barrel here, which breaks the mod. Once the team, so mechanically this section here is just present to make the mod work. Once Team Chamash either sells off this barrel or Team Infernus blows up this barrel, then it'll end. But that will be the end of this match as Team Infernus is victorious. Team Chamash collapsing under the weight of their own fort. The disintegration chains are beautiful. They really are. I do thoroughly enjoy the elements of disintegration as everything comes crumbling apart. It seems that the general location of the neck of those forts is a huge weak spot. Yeah, anything that has weight below it, anything that has weight below it will cause problems. Like if you section off the balloon segment versus the... they're gonna redo it again. Oh no. Alright, so it looks like the call has been made to redo it once more. I think at this point they just want to see it happen again. Because it's been particularly one-sided so far. We see the barrels placed here. And the disconnect. So everyone is freely flying at this point. They activate all their portals and energy shields and such. As it is Infernus versus Chamash once more. How shall it end this time? Hanged by their own weight? Yes. Team should distribute the lift around. They are. All of these red balloons and blue balloons are different sets of lift. The issue isn't that they aren't distributing their weights. The issue is that there's simply too much weight for the structure to handle. Like, this is only a single cross brace. Like, the entire thing is cross braced and nothing more. You cannot dangle that much across cross bracing, simple cross bracing. The entire thing just rips apart, and that's it. Like, you redid it. There it goes again. Like, I don't... Like, it's... The fort ship, it's too big. It's too unstable. This isn't much better, but, like, they're getting the opening shots, and that's what's making the difference here. There is no internal structure, like secondary structure. There is no stability tech that keeps things held together. So once one strut breaks, it doesn't really matter if there's lift around. The entire thing comes crumbling down. We've seen it time and time again. It feels like the weapons are way too powerful for aerial combat. No. If you think cannons are good, the strongest weapon in the arsenal is the default rocket, with mortars close behind. The reason they're not used is because it's difficult to hit with them, and also because rockets have the tendency to self-destruct. More of a battle of attrition without cannons? No. It's, cannons make it easy to hit the target, but cannons are not the most devastating weapon available to them. Not by a lot. It's the armor that makes it so one volley kills? Exactly. Mind you, the reason they have that much armor is because if they don't, then cannons penetrate, but at least it's a difficult situation. So we should have Infernus versus Yogurt, and no, it should be Apotheosis versus Chamash next. And we're off. Nope, this is not. This is, give me a moment. This is Infernus versus Chamash. No? What am I watching? What? Yogurt enjoyers. Which match are we doing? Why are we skipping? Okay. There we go. Hey, we got it. Hey, we got 2 ships all over again. Oh, well, maybe slightly less than 2. Do they catch this one? They're trying to catch it. Oh, but it's too much. Oh, they caught it, but the stress of the catching was too much and they ripped it apart. Oh no. As we have Team Infernus, just a simple brick with cannons. Doing any amount of damage and watching all their opponents just rip themselves apart. It's, oh boy. Is Yogurt Enjoyers managing to actually maintain... This is a recovery. Like, they're going to get some damage off of this. You know, assuming they hit. I mean, I guess that counts as a hit. Kind of. I feel bad for Yogurt Enjoyers. They have consistently not managed to land those Nighthawks. Ooh. That's enough cannons to penetrate through. They managed to knock through all those doors, just destroy them outright, and with it, take out some of the last remaining cannons of Team Yogurt Enjoyers. Team Infernus, it's looking pretty one-sided. The good news is that Yogurt Enjoyers has taken so much damage that they no longer have the mass required to sunder them apart whenever they take a hit. So they will be able to take hits for quite some time, it would seem. Unfortunately, they have also taken so much damage that they don't have anything worth shooting anymore. So that's a thing. There's still a bit of internal stresses causing some breakage, but it's not enough breakage to cause the entire fort to collapse. Ooh, a little close to the ceiling. Yogurt enjoys reacting appropriately. And swing and a miss. Another solid hit. Cannon merge, slamming into the same spot. Oh, that's a lot of damage. That is, that's a catastrophe right there. Wow, somehow they both still have weapons and they still have their core. The last defiant breath of that cannon. Firing a burst of kinetics before being obliterated. Did they place a howitzer? They placed a howitzer. I'm impressed. Deja vu. You've been in this place before. Oh. And there goes the core. That's not ideal. Without the core, they lose a bit of their production. Is that it? Yeah, they lost their flight surfaces. And there you have it. Team Infernus fires first. Team Yogurt not tanky enough to eat the hits. And so we have another victory for Team Infernus. Another point racked up. Well played. Okay, so the next match should be Apotheosis versus Chamash. As that is, and it will be the last remaining match. Cosmetier Forts, almost. How many times can you split that ship in half? It seems 2 times is the limit. Oh no. You saw this ship design 3 times, and each time they outmaneuvered their adversary and shot first. There has hardly been any outmaneuvering in this. What is happening here is simply that Team Infernus is firing first, and that's it. Like there's no outmaneuvering here. Like there's nothing exceptional. They're firing first, and the other teams are not sufficiently defended to, are not capable of taking 3 cannon rounds, which is. I mean, it is what it is. We've seen it time and again, multiple times at this point, where the team receives a small gust of cannon and completely falls apart. Looks like we have a player substitution on Team Apotheosis, I believe. Yes, Team Apotheosis is a player substitution. No problem. We're just waiting on the other Chamash player. And so this will be Chamash versus Apotheosis coming up next. Hello there, welcome, welcome. As we have, this will be the final match of the event. So whenever the players are ready, we will begin. Time's up. Let's do this. Once more, the Flying Force Tournament, round robin. We begin. Here we have Team Chamash facing off against Team Apotheosis. Chamash with the tallest layout against Apotheosis with the wide and thick. Did they really? Okay. That's funny. Each team quickly activates all of their portals and energy shields. Team Chamash rises, well, I suppose both rise gradually into the sky. So we've seen it time and again. Both of these forts are very vulnerable to tearing themselves asunder when taking any damage to the upper half of the vessel. Looks like the splash damage here is scattered enough to not penetrate, as we have Team Chamash drifting dangerously close to the ceiling. They will catch themselves. Team Apotheosis stabilizing themselves, rotating into position, and oh, that's a hit to the balloons. That's going to cause them to drop somewhat. So we'll see they're now rotating downwards and slowly drifting down. They'll have to fix their rotation in order to fire once more. Chamash has basically stabilized in position at a decent firing angle to arc those cannons up and into Apotheosis. Almost a door snipe. That was so very close to a door snipe. Cannons galore. Door snipe. Here we have Chamash Cult has taken a hit, losing 3 cannons. That's pretty rough. That'll cost them a bit of their firepower, but nothing critical. They did not deform or otherwise break. Apotheosis is taking several hits to the top of their ship, where a lot of their lift surfaces are, and that will cause them to drift downward as well as rotate wildly, preventing them from aiming their shots appropriately for a time, or at least making it difficult. As Chamash Cult takes a hit, almost drifts into the ceiling for it, as they've suddenly lost a whole lot of weight. A little high, Chamash Cult swing and a miss. Self-destruction on the cannon. No serious damage was dealt. Another volley from Chamash. That's just so many cannons coming out and slamming into Apotheosis. Apotheosis' design, less vulnerable to the self-disintegration. However, we have seen it a few times before where it has disintegrated. You see it specifically this area where the balloons are. This group of blue balloons. If they get hit or they break, the entire thing just comes ripping off because the metal in front's a bit too thick to hold the line. Whereas Chamash, it's too thick all over to hold itself. So if it takes a penetrative shot about anywhere, it's just done. Oh, all of the Chamash, all of Apotheosis' doors are open during that hit, so they took multiple door snipes. Multiple door snipes, dealing massive damage, causing them to lose a large amount of their weight. And with it, they went slamming into the ceiling, losing a lot of their lift surfaces in the process. That's it's not the ideal condition for them to be. Chamash has stabilized to the point where they are expanding their fort slightly and adding additional weaponry. When you're so stable, you can simply expand and claim. Ooh, Apotheosis is taking a heavy hit. Uh-oh. The balloons, they explode. Ooh, they're repairing it up, but that's a lot of deformation. You can see the stresses on their fort in this area is very high. There will not... More hits like that and we may see Apotheosis simply tear itself apart at the seams. EMPs placed on Chamash's side. Nothing particularly vulnerable to EMPs on Apotheosis, on the Apotheosis vessel, so we're not going to see those EMPs be particularly useful. EMPs are firing. I think they shall go wild. Indeed they do. As cannon rounds slam into... Apotheosis has taken much, much more damage. For reference, Chamash has only lost 22% of their total reserves, while Apotheosis has lost 52% of their total reserves, which is kind of a lot. If this keeps up, where Apotheosis is able to successfully defend, they will eventually run out of money. Although this match is ostensibly unlimited, given that they had started with 100,000 monies. It is very difficult to spend it all, but they are spending it, just because they have taken so very many hits, and so few sent out in return. That's not true. They've sent out a lot in return, just not nearly the same amount. Like, about half of the amount. Apotheosis building a slight extension to add gunners of their own to defend against the EMPs. Not that the EMPs have landed or come close to landing. We actually see proper engines added onto, activated by Apotheosis. Looking to maneuver themselves slightly closer. Curious as to how that will help them. I imagine it won't. Cannon versus machine gunner. Who wins? Ooh. That's the scary spot. Like, just looking at Chamash here, this spot in particular is already about to pull itself apart. Looks like we have another door snipe. Massive internal damage. Look at the stresses the deformation is causing most of Apotheosis' inside to just barely hold together. Like, it is very close. It is very, very close to just breaking apart at the seams. I'm noticing what looks to be some additional... Ooh, another door snipe. Deformation all around. it looks like there's some additional stability tech, some interlacing that's keeping at least this section of the fort intact. Uh-oh, we're seeing it drop out. There's too much, the armor on the bottom is causing a problem. It's pulling way too much on the fort. They may need to sell off some of that armor if they're looking to keep up with the damage control. They definitely need some additional internal bracing, but they're running out of cannons. Apotheosis, once having started with 12, is now down to 7. Most of which are, some of which are just incapable of firing. Like, they don't have line of sight anymore. The deformation has gotten so extreme to the point as it's just no more firing arc outside the front. And Chamash, they just keep firing. Chamash is still sitting, Chamash down to 39% of their total reserves used. Another door snipe. But Apotheosis, they have lost 80% of their total reserves. They're down to 20%. They are running out of time. They're running out of money, which is a massive surprise to me. But man. Even more damage. Honestly, Apotheosis constantly taking hits to their balloons up top is causing them to constantly have to readjust their vessel instead of firing their weapons. So instead of firing their weapons, they're just floundering around up in the air, taking hit after hit, and it's almost like a death spiral where they have to do something to break out of it, because they just need to be able to maneuver without having their maneuvering thrusters, as it were, eliminated. Again, another heavy hit. These thrusters, allowing them to move closer and close the gap, I don't know if it's going to help them. As getting closer isn't really going to stop them from getting out of range of the cannons. All it will do is make it easier to land the cannons, but any amount of movement may be good movement at this point. Like, these thrusters were angled downward. They could have used them to maneuver closer or underneath. Not that underneath is a much safer spot, as Chamash has already lined up with some bomb launch arrays. Oh, look at this. Like, Apotheosis is struggling to maneuver themselves and aim at their opponents. Down to 4 cannons. Can their 4th cannon even fire? It can, actually, kind of. It can if they're aimed directly on. Alright, I think Apotheosis is finally going to get in control of their rotation here. But they need to, funny enough, they need to remove, they've got too much lift, so they're drifting up very quickly. And they're going to have to stop that real quick, whereas Chamash is just slowly rotating themselves to keep track of their opponents. And Apotheosis doesn't fire. Apotheosis down to 5% of their total reserves. They can no longer rebuild en masse. At this point, they have 3,000 metal. They are down to what is nearly vanilla levels of material left. Down to 1% remaining. Apotheosis. Oh no. Death by attrition. Apotheosis down to 0%. Apotheosis officially cannot repair. It is... They do have a small trickle of money, so they will be able to slowly repair over time, but this is the point where we will see these doors not recreated. We will see damage dealt, not repaired, and so the splash damage just trickles all the way through, hitting their primary lift array. Is that... that's the phrase I'm going with this time. Oh, wow, they reconstructed the balloons, but it's too much. They just penetrate all the way through. Death by attrition. Chamash fires cannons until there is just nothing left. And there we have it. Chamash defeating Apotheosis in a war of attrition. Massive damage. that was a good match. The longest match we've seen so far. As a single cannon round penetrates through. It didn't even penetrate through. Oh no. They just moved. They just took so much damage that moving quickly ripped their whole fort apart. Oh no. It's devastating. That's that one is oof. Well, we've seen it before, we've seen it again. When things get heavy, it gets rough. That was well played. How many matches are left? That should have been the last match, barring any substitutions or something that has to have gone something that needs to be fixed. That should have been the end. I'm just going to look until yes, it looks like victory goes to Team Infernus. With 9 wins? Did they really get 9 wins? I mean, I know they're winning a lot. Team Infernus clocks in at... Yeah, Team Infernus going 3-0 in every... Going 3-0 in every round here, in all 3 rounds. That's okay. All right, I'm impressed. So we have Infernus coming in 3-0 in all rounds, with Apotheosis coming in 2nd place at 4 points. It looks like. Now it looks like we have a 2-way tie for 2nd place between Apotheosis and Chamash. Oof. But congratulations to Team Infernus claiming victory in this Flying Forts round robin extraordinaire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the end of this event. I want to say big shout out to Hallrassy putting it on. Actually putting the work in, getting the events all together, putting the mods together, and making it work. This has been a great showing, and honestly, by far, the best Flying Forts I have seen, I think, ever. I think I'm confident in saying that. So I want to say big shout out to everyone involved, and congratulations to Team Infernus taking 1st place by a lot. Team Infernus with the players Hunter and Robin. Actually players that we have seen before in other tournaments. So I want to say thank you thank you all for stopping by. Infernus, 1st place with 9 points. Apotheosis, 2nd place with 4. Chamash in 3rd place with 3. And Yogurt Enjoyers with 1 point in 4th. Thank you all for participating, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember, we do have our usual stream coming on later tonight, so stick around, and I'll see you guys later.